Hi, good evening. My name is Jay Rothman. I am the host. Welcome to Real Men, Real Talk Live. Hi, good evening. Good evening again. My name is Jay Rothman. I am the host of the show. I'd like to welcome my co-host. This evening we have Josh Richard coming in somewhere from Santa Monica, I believe, California. Welcome to the show, Josh. We have Evis Love Heath, the man of the land from down under. He calls Australia home. And we have Mr. Jeff Fasano. He calls home in Nashville, Tennessee. Welcome to the studio, guys.
Thank you, Jay.
Good to be here.
Brothers in the house. Thank you, thank you,
grateful.
thank you. What a show.
Well, we are midway through the month of December with just a couple of weeks until we're at the end of the year. We've got two major holidays coming up. And as we approach the holiday season, I'm hopeful that you guys, by the way, had an awesome week no matter what was going on in your world and in your life. I hope that you were able to find some silver linings, perhaps some even gratitude in a moment for what we have today. As we about to jump into the topic tonight of attitude of gratitude or tude, I wanted to invite Evis to really kind of heat us up, get us going here on the show. But before we do that, I'd like to welcome our viewers and our listeners to the show. If you should hear something that you like or love, with love, tap your love button on your monitor and light us up, because when you light us up, it just it brings us to a whole nother level of gratitude in a moment. And so if you're watching for the first time, please let us know what city, state, or country you are in fact joining us in from. And again, viewers, any comments, any questions that you have, we'll do our best to put them up on screen and answer any questions that come up. But in this moment, attitude of gratitude, it's a perfect time of the year for us to jump into it, because it's, especially in 2020, there's been a lot of moments of perhaps darkness and sadness, uncertainty, fear, worry, anxiety, depression for millions of people around the globe. And the question really comes down to is, how can gratitude help take us out of that funk and bring us into a moment of comfort, ease, stillness? So we're going to do our best to really dissect, really, what does the word gratitude mean, and how are we impacted by it? Is it an emotional thought that happens, or is it a physical reaction that happens from a thought that creates a spontaneous, beautiful cocktail of gratitude? And what does that feel like? So, Evis, I'm going to invite you to open us up and get this show going.
Yeah, thank you, Jay Roth, the man. Beautiful intro, as always. And as always, from the bottom of my heart, my brothers and my sisters on the other side of the pond, if you're in here in the land down under, thank you, thank you, thank you. And how easy is it to say those words? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Some people, it's a little bit difficult, man. Like our brother Jay Roth, the man, just said, there's not much should we be thanking for this year, or is there? I did a video this morning, and my thing was really starting to see the smaller things in life that create the big changes. From my childhood, I've done it tough, man. We were what you would probably say, really doing it tough in really getting by in life, growing up with, the single mum. And, I had to quickly learn how to be grateful for everything that I did have in my life. I said in a video that I did at the start of this year that I had to be grateful for candles burning as electricity once upon a time in my life. I had to be grateful for food or bread being put on the table as dinner in my life. You know, someone just around the corner from you today is doing it tougher than you, my brothers and sisters. And when we start to see those finer things in life, the very fabric that make up these beautiful, bigger things that we're so grateful for, like this thing we call Christmas coming around the corner, like this thing over the other side of the pond you guys call Thanksgiving, then we start to be able to really embrace life for what it is. You know, with this word gratitude, to me, it brings up really, really deep stuff. My personal stuff this year, 2020, which I opened up on a video this morning, we've all been through the challenges, brothers and sisters. And to this very day, I'm still in a couple of challenges that I'm going through with toxicity around within my life. But you know what, my brothers and sisters? I've done so much inner reflection. I've done so much inner work that I'm thankful for it. I'm giving it nothing but love, man. And straight away, just from flipping that switch, see how I can change my body? See how I can change the way I look at circumstances, things, people, places, and things within my life? It comes from gratitude. But what I want to dive in deep also about tonight is that what I've seen with a lot of people, particularly as you may as well call us new ages, using gratitude to band-aid certain things within their lives. Now, this is where I see a lot of people maybe use gratitude in a particular way that they're not really feeling the negative emotions that gratitude may be plastering over the top. So yeah, man, this shit gets deep, and I'm looking forward to diving in gratitude as the attitude on a Real Men Real Talk live tonight.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Great one, Ev. Beautiful opener.
Thanks, brother.
Gratitude is the secret sauce of the universe, I swear. And I've tested it. Do you guys ever? I was just gonna try and find the app on my phone. There's a little clip device you can put on your ear that measures your coherence in your body. And it measures your breathing and your heart rate. And when those are kind of in sync, your body's in coherence, your body's in a relaxed state, you're not stressed. And I, being the problem solver, wanted to crack this little device and see how I could get my body to coherence the fastest possible. And after playing around with it for hundreds of hours, literally I can drop into coherence. It has a little app that it tethers to, and it shows red if your body's out of sync, and then, you know, blue if you're getting there, and then green if you're in coherence. Literally, I can just deeply, deeply feel something that I'm grateful for, and boom, my body drops into coherence. It's like, and I've tried everything, thinking of butterflies, rainbows, you know, sitting below a beautiful waterfall with mist coming on my face, looking at a beautiful sunset. Nothing got me to coherence, or my body to coherence, faster than feeling deep gratitude. It's crazy. And I played with it a lot. So it's a fun little hack for the body, and those feelings generate the good chemicals in your body. And so deeply, deeply taking in everything that we do have, and everything that goes right for us and happens for us in life, and really acknowledging that and taking it in is the way to get your body the healthiest from within.
100%, brother. Man, what was that nifty little gadget you're talking about?
You know, let me find the app. I believe, I know. I want to tell everybody too, and we'll put the link on our site if I find it. It was about $120, but it's amazing. When you practice with it, you can get there so much faster, and you kind of recognize how to get your body there. You start to feel it over time, and then you can drop in quicker. But it's beautiful. We'll post it.
Awesome. Thanks, brother.
Jeff.
You know, I'm feeling very quiet right now, and what just popped into my mind was when we think of gratitude and we think of that word, and everybody says, "What are you grateful for?" and all that good stuff. I think most of us look outside of ourselves first. Like, oh, I'm grateful for you guys. I'm grateful for this person. I'm grateful for what they did for me there. I'm grateful there. Doesn't it always start with us first? Wouldn't it start with us first? What am I grateful for? Am I grateful for me? Am I grateful for the work that I've been doing on myself? Am I grateful that I had the wherewithal, the courage, the strength to begin my inner work? What am I grateful for that I have created in my life? That's where I'm at. I've been at for a while, as I'm looking now to accentuate all the wonderful things that are in my life, all the wonderful people that are in my life, all the wonderful things that I've accomplished myself in my life, looking back to where I started a little over 20 years ago, leaving the corporate world, coming to this point. I think a great way to begin gratitude is to begin it with yourself. What have I done? You know, look back at my life 5 years ago, 10 years ago, maybe when I first started the inner work, the personal process. What did I do to move from that place to where I am now? And move into that gratitude that begins here first. And that will build up a wonderful foundation of self-value. And I think, I know that I forget that. And it's one of the things that I've been focusing on is really looking at not what I think is wrong with me, what I need to work on, because that's always going to be there. You know, we're always want to work to improve ourselves, to move to another level, another rung of self-mastery. I think it's a movement of moving out of looking at what isn't in my life to what is in my life. And it begins here. It begins in our heart space of you know, look back 5 years ago, where was I? And then what did I do? And what did I accomplish that I did to be where I am now?
Beautiful. Beautiful.
100%.
You know, I love what you just shared, Jeff, because when I was back 5 years ago, I was just coming out of recovery from massive surgeries to save my life. And I then had a reaction to anesthesia, very bad. And it took me out for 1.5 years with extreme fatigue.
Wow.
And massive brain fog. And what happened for me was early on in the process of really healing the physical recovery and then realizing that I needed to work on my emotional and mental well-being if I wanted to make it. And early on, when I realized that I couldn't really work if I could just get one thing done in a day, and if that one thing was just literally go for that walk or make one call or take care of one little thing, that would be more than enough. And I really had to learn how to live in acceptance that in that moment, I was beset with these long-term neurological challenges without knowing how long it was going to last. But I had a knowing that I needed to practice really paying attention to the little things that I could be grateful for. The little things, if it meant just like having an hour of energy to do something in a day, in between going to self-help groups, you know, to raise my hand and share my story, to release all of the toxic emotions that I had been holding on to for years. And so the gratitude started to come. Up until that point, I really didn't, in my life, really understand the power of gratitude, the power of how it could take us from the darkest of thoughts, which create our reality, our perspective, which creates our reality, to having a physical reaction to gratitude. And gratitude for me, just a lot of it was practicing acceptance that I was right where I was at, and I didn't have to know why, other than it was all there to teach me many lessons. So in between dealing with the condition that I had, my dad passed away. I left my marriage. The financial collateral damage was so significant, I made the decision to file bankruptcy in 2016. So I had a lot of stuff going on. But even through that experience, which was devastating for me from the ego mindset, but from the heart space, I had a knowing that it's right where I needed to be. And in that moment, even through all that going on simultaneously, I practiced having awareness of gratitude. And we're going to get into tonight many different tools on how to reach for gratitude, how to create gratitude, because I think it's more than just a thought. I think it's way deeper than that. Ev, what do you make of that?
As always, brother, thanks for sharing that, man. Just absolutely beautiful. Always honor your story, brother. Always feel privileged to hear it, my friend. Yeah, look, you touched on it there, my brother, and when we start getting into this deeper science of it, from my understanding of where this gratitude comes from, you're talking about these emotions again. We're talking about this emotional intelligence. And when we're coming up from that thought space, from up in the mind, like you is talking about once upon a time in your life, that ego wanting to keep you locked down in that place, then you're going to send these signals emotionally to the body, that the body starts to find these places of anxiety, that the body starts to find these places of depression, that the body starts finding these other places that keep you in this lack of or this restricted nature. So it is actually proven, and the science keeps coming through now, that by simply being able to reframe some of these negative emotions, and I'm not talking about, like I said, band-aiding over some of these negative emotions, but like Jay the Rothman said, becoming aware, stopping, pausing. Are you honestly stopping within your life, giving yourself time to actually become aware of where you are, how you're thinking, how you're feeling, to notice some of these smaller things that we're talking about, to be grateful for? Because when we're able to start coming from that place, like we're always saying on that Real Men Real Talk Live, we're coming from a heart center now. And it is scientifically starting to prove that the heart actually starts to expand, man, when we're going into a state of gratitude. That places within the brain that equal expansion and growth start to expand. We're talking about our hippocampus, pituitary gland, pineal gland, all these glands that we're starting to learn about that actually help us on our ascension, on our growth and expansion as a human being. So yeah, my brother, look, I absolutely honor your story. And, just that little bit of science, I think when we start to really understand what this body is doing from a state of gratitude, as opposed to laying in some of those negative emotions, then we can start really moving forward.
Beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. Again, I want to invite our viewers and listeners, if you have any questions for us as we go deeper into this conversation, please drop them into the comments. I appreciate you guys are lighting up the board right now. We got a lot of comments flowing through here, and I do want to share just a few right here. Julian Bowie, coming in from Scotland, says gratitude scientifically has a positive effect on your body and mind. It can improve depression and even heart conditions. And I'm posting this up here because I read an article last night, a very recent article that was just focused on the alcohol consumption in the U.S. right now, currently. Now, this was through 2019 or January of 20, so they haven't even really got all the data yet to show where we're at. But the numbers are so, we want to talk about depressing. The numbers are depressing. And the article was specifically focusing on women, not men. And how I wasn't aware the American Cancer Society recently stated that no alcohol consumption is what's appropriate right now. No alcohol consumption. And I'm not advocating that. I'm not endorsing that. But what I am in bringing to this conversation is that we have a choice that, look, when we're stressed out, when we're scared, when we're worried, when we're having financial ruin or damage or just absolutely health, people and our families getting sick, having long-term conditions from the virus, let's say in 2020, we have a choice. We either can reach for the glass of wine that becomes 4 or 5, which is what this article is talking about right now, on average every night or every day, or because we think as men and women that we just don't want to feel it, we just want to numb out. But there's another option. There is another choice, and that's to get busy. That's to get busy and say, what can I do to help myself feel better? But the first step is not to want to check out from those feelings, but be willing to embrace them and go, okay, this is how I feel tonight. You know, I had a moment yesterday. I got triggered by something, and I was able to express that to my partner. And in that moment, I was aware of how I was physically feeling from something that I had read, and I was able to just put it out there. And by doing that in a healthy way, not in a screaming, raging way, not in an angry way, but just expressing my emotions and feelings, I was able to diffuse a lot of the energy and release it. And over the day, I was, able to work through it. And I didn't need to reach for any type of substance to get me through it. What I reached for was my awareness of how I was feeling, and then feel safe enough to express that to someone that I could trust.
Beautiful.
And I tell you what, I didn't have a hangover. And that felt, not only did that feel good, but what felt even better was at the end of the day, I literally had this incredible feeling of gratitude. The gratitude was that I was able to measure how much growth I personally have had to where I couldn't have been able to go through that exercise 6 years ago. It would have come out sideways. It would have been a very different experience for me and that individual. But today, the gratitude was like, wow, like I'm so grateful that I can express what I'm feeling, understand what I'm feeling, and then be honored and respected for that.
So Jay, what you are grateful for is the time and effort and courage that you put into doing the self-work to get to this point.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
And that great and the gratitude is begins with you.
Beautiful.
It begins with me, and then I opened it up in that moment in my heart space is to realize, like, I'm so grateful that I have someone in my life that isn't going to twist what I say and make it about them and turn it into a spiraling downward, let's say, disagreement or argument, but was able to receive me and receive what I was feeling, honor me, respect me, listen to me, not try to resolve it or dissolve it for me. So I was grateful that I have attracted a relationship in my life where we both can feel safe. And as this gratitude comes in all different sizes and all different shapes and all different experiences. It's a beautiful tool when we realize the power of it and how it can take us out of the dark night of the soul, as they say, and lift us up. Now, what's the physical part of gratitude? How does it physically impact our body? Because we think it just, we just feel better. But let's take a moment here, guys, and let's dive into what is the physical reaction that's happening that creates the true essence of gratitude. Who wants to jump in on that?
You know what pops into my mind spontaneously as you say that, if we could, when we look at our life and say, just even close your eyes and say, I'm grateful. Just, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for. And spontaneously, this is what I'm grateful for. And then let it lead into what is in my life. I think you move into a place of peace.
There you go.
A place of serenity, even if it's momentary. I'm grateful, I'm grateful for, or I'm grateful, but like I've said before, we could say it, we can write it and then read it. But what we have to do is really move in and say, and ask ourselves, how does that make me feel? I'm really grateful that I had the courage 5 years ago to begin my journey within, and what it's produced in my life is what I have in my life right now. And as you're saying that or writing it, how does it make me feel? One of the tools that we can do is to write that list spontaneously. Just if we could do it spontaneously, because if you're doing it spontaneously, you're coming from your heart. We're coming from our heart. Do it spontaneously. Make a list, whether it's 5, 10, or 21 things. After you make that list, go back to number 1, read it, close your eyes, and ask yourself, how does that make me feel?
Beautiful. Now, let me put this out there. A lot of people have no idea how they feel. I remember walking into the rooms of therapist's office and they say, how do you feel? I'm like, if I knew how I'd feel, I probably wouldn't be here. Now, I didn't say that to them. But I certainly wanted to say that, and I was thinking that. A lot of people, the only expressions as a man that I was able to express was I was angry and I was frustrated. Now, to me, anger isn't even it's really not even the root feeling of, it is ego's way to protect what we're truly feeling. What we may be feeling deeper than anger is we're feeling not heard. We're feeling hurt. We're hurt. We're feeling like we don't matter. We're feeling sad. Anger, my experience with anger is that it's like the secondary emotion, and it's what we use to deflect our true essence of our feeling. It's our way of not wanting to deconstruct what truly is going on, but it's a man's way to just kind of like, just let it out. I'm really pissed off. I'm really angry. F them. Who do they think they are? Blah, blah, blah. But that's really not the essence. That's really not what that is deep inside of us. So that's another question, is like, how do we get to tap into, understand what we're truly feeling in a moment so that we can express it in a healthy way, so we can release it, not through anger.
Feelings are simple. They're really simple. I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling peaceful. I'm feeling calm. Feelings are very simple. And the reason why they're simple is because a baby who's born and 5 years old is having feelings. And they express them by crying and laughing, then crying again, then screaming. Feelings are very, very simple. We complicate it because what we want to do is we want to give it meaning. We want to understand it. We want to make it more complicated than it actually is. Right now, I'm feeling sad.
Beautiful, Jeff. I just want to read out here what Deb says. Jay Rothman's sarcasm is anger's little cousin, and hurt and pain is the mother. That's a beautiful, beautiful comment there. Thank you for sharing that, Deb. Ev, I'm going to invite you. I want to get back to what is the physical. What happens to us physically? What is the reaction when we are able to experience the emotions of gratitude or the feeling of gratitude? What's happening to our body physically? How does it impact our health?
What I really love to integrate into a lot of the people that I help on the health, fitness, and wellness journey is gratitude, which is very different, you might say, for a lot of coaches out there, particularly in my realm of, really treating the physical body. It's really putting you in that, like we're talking about, that more optimistic state when you're expressing gratitude more. So when you're grateful for, maybe the blood running in your veins to keep you alive, maybe for the friggin' feet or the legs that you've got to walk on and actually navigate through this thing we call life, then you're actually more likely to take better care of yourself. You start actually engaging in better, healthier behaviors. So this is going to ensure that your body remains healthy, but your body's got to believe you. So until we really get to that point where we're starting to engage in some of these healthier self-care boundaries, then on that physiological level, we're always going to be given into some of these negative emotions. It's really getting the body to understand it, and this is going to lead to overall health and wealth.
Yeah.
The body doesn't respond to thought. The body responds to feelings. But we can generate new feelings by holding new thoughts, by holding thoughts of gratitude and writing a gratitude list every day. I mean, my life changed most dramatically. When I was at my lowest point, I had 2-bedroom house with a pool in Burbank, and it was insane. I thought I should have been happy because I had everything. And that's when I was my most miserable, because I was caught in that cycle of thinking life was happening to me, and I was just caught in the negative cycles. I was also beating myself up a lot. I had a lot of shame. I had a lot of blame and a lot of anger. And one of the fastest ways that I turned that situation around was writing 10 things I'm grateful for every day. And when I stuck to that practice regularly, my life changed drastically and almost overnight. And after the crash of my tech startup, and I had my lease, renting a small room, I was doing this gratitude practice. I was the happiest I'd ever been in my life, because I was appreciating every little thing that I had. I had a roof over my head. I'd walk out the front door and see a beautiful sunrise. I don't even recall actually taking in a sunrise in probably a decade of my life that I was in the grind and working so hard on my tech startup. But when I started doing this gratitude list, the word, wow, I'm really grateful for, started to enter my whole life. It's like I would have an interaction with somebody, it would go well, and I'm like, wow, I'm really grateful for that person. It becomes, I mean, we are what we think, right? It's like if we're caught in those negative cycles and looking at everything that's negative in life, it becomes a filter. But when you start to consciously choose gratitude and profess the things that you are grateful for, that's a filter as well. And you start to see all of the beautiful things in life. It becomes these rose-colored glasses, and like we've said here too, it's not just ooga booga, but it actually physically changes your body as well.
It's shifting.
Oh, love that, Josh.
Yeah, and it's shifting our nervous system.
Totally.
There you go.
It's when we practice putting stuff in new practice, just practicing over and over again. Just think about, oh, that's my kitty. So just thinking about
Jeff, you could let Kitty out of the timeout. Kitty.
She
Hey,
wants.
hey, Jeff, how is your kitty feeling right now? Ask Kitty how.
She's probably feeling frustrated because I'm not paying attention to her. And that's what she wants. But the thing is, what was I saying? What was I saying, Ev?
With the nervous
The
system.
nervous system.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's where I was going with it. So go ahead.
Yeah, the thing about it is if we looked at what we have practiced in the past, what we're used to practicing in the past, and then begin to switch the new practice, what we're doing is we're deconstructing the nervous system to reconstruct the nervous system into a new place. That's a process in and of itself, but the way it begins is creating a new practice. It's like practicing yoga. It's like practicing anything. What Josh was just talking about was what Josh just said was so beautiful and perfect that you're going to have to watch the replay because I totally forgot. The thing is what Josh said, I used to beat myself up. I used to do this. I used to do that. I used to practice all of that stuff. I did that. Beat myself up. Look at what isn't in my life. Constantly look at that my life is empty. All that practice over and over again that I was programmed and taught. And then and that's all my nervous system thus was configured that way. So what we want to do is begin a new practice, and we could begin it as we're talking tonight about what am I grateful for? Writing down, like Josh said, every morning writing down 10 things that I'm grateful for, or just waking up in the morning and the first thing you say is, I'm grateful for what is in my life now, and so much more that's coming. And you could be, and beginning, that will begin to shift and retrain our nervous system to looking at life as the life being full, or the glass is being full, as opposed to the glass being empty.
Mm-hmm.
So we start filling up things, and it's not filling up like Josh said, have the house, this, the car. That's not where we fill up. Was empty. And Ev said it when we first came up, we first got here. It's about emptying out that old, releasing the old from our life, releasing it so we can create a space in our life for the new to come in, that is designed to come in through a new practice of, what is in my life? What am I grateful for? What have I accomplished in this life? Who is in my life that champions my highest good? What are those relationships? Boy, and that would move to a greater sense of intimacy and love of self and a love of others.
Yeah.
Beautiful, brother.
Denise, coming in from Brazil, says gratitude is acknowledging the simple things in life that makes us happy.
There you go.
Yep.
And sometimes in the moment, all we have is the little things. Like I said earlier in this episode, for me, it was if I could just get one thing done in a day, because I didn't have the energy, I didn't have the stamina to do more than one simple thing. And for me, that was good enough. What I also understood early on when I began to research and learn is that how it affects our health physically is that when we are in fight or flight, or when we're feeling anxious, or when we're depressed, and all the toxic, dark emotions that we're feeling, our body is in fight or flight mode. And what that means is that we're in a sympathetic nervous system response. We're flooding our body with a hormone, a chemical called cortisol. And that is the precursor for disease, mental disease, but also the rest of our vital organs, the body disease, heart disease, cancer, autoimmune. I could name the list, diabetes even. It all contributes to it. So what I understood was that I had spent so many years living in fight or flight or freeze, I needed to not give my body permission to stay in that. I needed to break free of fight or flight. And I understood that gratitude was a gateway to help shift me out of those dark thoughts in any one of those moments that I had into the parasympathetic nervous system response, which is where we're dealing with dopamine, the feel good hormone, chemical, endorphins as well, which we get from movement. So I understood that I could have more control over my body's reaction to health and wellness. And I knew that I couldn't afford to live in fight or flight one more year. I needed to change the trajectory. I needed to turn off the switch and turn on the switch to health and wellness. And so that's why every morning at sunrise, no matter what the temperatures were, no matter if it was sunny or raining, I showed up at that shoreline, at that ocean, and spent anywhere from a minimum of 1 hour to 2 or 3 hours every single morning, 365. The only time I missed it is if I had a doctor's appointment at 7 a.m. in Los Angeles. But other than that, that's what it's about. We have the ability to control the physical outcome of our body. We have the superpowers. We just haven't been taught that. And well, unfortunately, the medical community really doesn't want us to know that because they have job security. The healthier we get, the less they have. The sicker we get, the more Western medicine has to offer. So unfortunately, that was my experience. That was my reality. That was my perspective. So, and it still is. Western medicine has its place and they do a lot of good things, but when it comes to chronic long-term diseases, they typically don't have solutions. It's up to us to do the research and learn. But getting back to the topic of attitude of gratitude, I know we've talked about this, Josh, as well. Go ahead.
I just wanted to piggyback off you, Jay, and say that, we on this show offer a lot of tools and a lot of things. And I know that some people out there might be saying, yeah, but how do I change my life? How do I create change? This is one very simple practice that if you did this daily, I guarantee your life will change. Because it has to. Your body is going to respond. You are going to get into those thought patterns like Jeff was talking about. That's going to create a new routine, which is going to generate new emotions, which is going to generate a new, happier, healthier life. And you will stave off that dis-ease that's growing from stress and pressure and the grind and, feeling like, we need to just force our way through everything. That pause that Ev is talking about, this is all around the same thing. And gratitude is the most powerful tool that we can give ourselves.
Yeah.
So Josh, let me ask you this, because when we're in a moment of darkness, a lot of people have that more of that effort attitude, like, you know what? I don't even know how to, I have nothing to be grateful for. Look what just happened, whatever it is.
I did too. I was totally caught in that. My mom would try, but you've got this going on for you. You've got that going on for you. And I was caught and I was like, no, but it fucking sucks. This happened and that, I can't believe that, they did this to me or this happened to me. It was all just to me. And yeah, so I get the darkness. And when you're caught in that, in those depressive lows, it's really hard to find things, but you can start small. You can look out your window and be grateful for the flowers that you see. I mean, I started tiny, micro. I was like, I told myself I had to write 10 things every day after my crash. And that was my rule. I had to write 10. Sometimes it was just for my family. And I tried not to repeat things. I tried to push myself and come up with new. And I just look out the window and be like, I don't know, that flower is pretty. So flower, I'm grateful for flowers. It'll grow. It'll grow in you, and then you'll start to deeply feel it. But the practice alone of just writing, acknowledging the things that make you grateful is how to start, and start small.
Yeah.
As Ev says, always talks about simplifying our life, and everything that he says, he's going to say it tonight again, folks. 3 or 4 or 5 times tonight.
Simplicity, and like you said, Jay, you know, that's not going to make money, unfortunately, on the third dimension that we've been living on. But yeah, no, you keep going, Jeff.
Oh no, I was just, that's what I was saying. It's like what Josh's talk about is really simply, oh, that just got me.
Me too.
Hey, Jeff and Josh, why don't you guys both take a nice deep breath here? Let's just have a moment. All of us, including our viewers, let's just take a moment to take a nice deep breath in. There's a lot of energy in this room right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's coming up for you, Jeff?
That just touched my heart. That's, I think, I don't think anybody out there is really going to know what I'm talking about right now, but that comment that Denise just, that Jay just popped up on the screen, there you go. There you go. That's it right there in a nutshell.
So if I may paraphrase you, what I think, what I'm interpreting what's happening for you, Jeff, is that you are actually able to feel a connection of gratitude in that moment, and that connection is love.
Yeah.
Wow. In a very, very deep, profound way. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That just opened my heart.
I'm grateful for this beautiful community and the 4 of you, and that we've expanded this out into other people's lives. And I'm just, you know, it's one of the beautiful things that has come out of this year, because it's crazy to think that we only started this show this year. It feels like we've been together a lifetime. And I'm just so grateful for everyone who's watching, for the 4 of you guys. And yeah, I'm feeling it deep tonight for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for you too, Denise.
Well, thankfully we have a purring cat in the background.
Cats are grateful too.
You know, the beautiful thing about what's unfolding in this moment is that we wanted to have an uplifting show tonight. We wanted it to be something positive, something with a lot of tools, something that's gonna just keep us a little lighter. And but you see, this is actually what can happen when we experience the physical and the emotional deep connection of a spontaneous gratitude moment.
Yeah.
It's less about I feel grateful. It's more about I am grateful in this moment. And when it can reach us, when we have that experience as men and women, where we feel it to where it brings tears to our eyes, There's only a few things in life that feel as good as that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it's possible because we have all had that experience right here, right now.
Mm.
It's one of the greatest ways that we can connect. And we didn't even need to physically touch each other in this moment. We didn't have to be in a compromised position. We didn't have to be naked. We didn't have to be having sex. We just had to have an open heart to have the experience.
Mm-hmm.
That's the power of gratitude. That's the power of gratitude.
Yeah.
You know, I had in the green room tonight, pre-show, I shared with you guys a conversation that unfolded today in a moment with one of my sons who had what's called long-term haulers, neurological conditions from COVID. He's the youngest of my boys. And he got tagged significantly with neurological conditions that are relentless, 5 months now. But what he expressed in his text to me was incredible. Now, he lives in another state. He's 8 hours from me. So it's not like he's in my home every day. He's not. But he's in my heart every day. And somehow, some way, he is embracing this moment when he is struggling with incredible dignity and grace. And for a 27-year-old, ever said to me in the green room, he said, it sounds like a proud father moment. Because I shared with the guys what was expressed by him. And I said to Ev, I said, you know, it's not about, I'm not proud of my son. It's not a proud moment. I'm just grateful that he's choosing the path that he's choosing as he's battling significant brain fog, significant fatigue, lung capacity issues, and vertigo simultaneously for months. And he's not the woe is me attitude. He's reaching for wisdom within and willingness to do whatever it takes to help himself holistically heal. And that is another one of those experiences where we can just have such gratitude for when we could see the growth that one of our children is experiencing in their 20s. You know, for me, being proud this is just my story, but it's an ego experience. For me, being proud feels like it's coming from the ego space. And for me, gratitude comes from my heart space. And my heart space is where my soul, that's where I want to stay. That's where I want to feel from. Because when I'm feeling from my head space, all bets are off. That's ego showing up in my life. And believe me, this is all new for me too. So I'm just grateful that I woke up in this lifetime and I get to have the experience of feeling the end result. Physical shift in the body, whether it comes through the flow of tears or a hug or just being able to communicate how grateful we are for someone in our life, whether it be a person or even an animal. Ev, you've been quiet for a while. I'm gonna invite you to kind of bring us along here. I've lost track of time. I had no idea. I haven't looked in a long. We're 6 minutes from the hour, guys.
Look, man, that is just absolutely beautiful. Wow, deep with my brothers and my sisters on the other side of the pond. It definitely just takes me on another dimension. And you know, I think where we were sliding into were some of these tools I guess our family can probably integrate within their life and really start cultivating what we know as gratitude, and just to see how powerful it really is. And we've just witnessed that in real time, how powerful it is. And you know, one of those things for me, I guess, in my personal daily spirituals, as I call them, first thing I do, like we just did then, is really get up and just take 10 deep breaths, 10 deep quiet breaths.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when we start to become more aware of that ability of what, you know, we are actually doing consciously to breathe in and out each time, and what effects that actually does for your body, and then how that makes you feel, then you're becoming back into the present, coming back into the moment, into the now. You know, all this anxiety, this depression that's probably been on this planet for way too long and that we've all experienced this year, it really is a cleanup. It really is a cleanup and a cleanse. Not to say that, you know, we have to process and go through some of these deeper feelings, but some of these basic tools like we've just shown on here, like breath work.
Mm-hmm.
Man, each morning after I've done my breath work, I'm laying up, I'm thinking about 5 things I'm grateful for, like Josh has mentioned on that gratitude list, to how I can be grateful to start the day. Straight away, I'm giving myself that platform. I haven't even had breakfast yet at this time. Then I go out of my way consciously to thank someone in my life. Doesn't even have to be a human being. It could be an animal like Jeff's cat. You know, showing that gratitude and acknowledging something like that. Like I said at the start of this program, those small things create big changes that allow for the transformation of whoever we are on this planet, particularly at this time that we're currently coexisting in. You know, the big thing that I said this morning also when I was on walkabout, stop and take a look around. Pause. Be still. Have you gone outside in the garden and smelt the flowers lately? Have you seen the butterflies buzzing around, the bees buzzing around? Man, this season in particular here in the land down under, I have not seen so many bees. They're back. They're back because we are ascending, my brothers and sisters. Now, before I go to bed each night, I reflect on the day that just went by. Now, if that day did not go into my liking, you might want to call it, then I thank it as if it actually did happen. You see, for me, that is the key that we haven't really touched on here in gratitude. It opens up a gateway to allow you to receive with an open heart, like we're talking about, as if it's already there. That person, that place, that time or event, it may not have happened in your life, but think it as if it did. Straight away, like we're talking about, the nervous system, all those hormones, those good feelings, the body starts going into a particular different state of being, actually believes that you are already there. So really nurturing some of these tools that we've talked about on Real Men Real Talk Live, and I've just given you 5 hot ones there straight off the bat that I do daily, my brothers and sisters. It does have to become a practice, just like anything else that we become the master of.
Beautiful. I love it.
I want to piggyback real quick.
Go ahead.
And we're getting fired up now. I love this. Ev, you touched on it there, is that the body doesn't know the difference between a thought or reality. The brain responds to it all exactly the same. That's why if you think about having sex, your body responds. You'd get turned on. You can just think it and it's there. And so like Ev was saying, truly being grateful for that moment, for something that you're working towards or you're going toward. This, I hate to use the hot button term manifestation, but we're breaking down what is actually physically happening in your body and how the nuts and bolts work. Is being grateful for all the wonderful things you have in your life will bring you more. And that's how the universal law works. And so, yeah, you stated it so beautifully, Ev. And I just had to piggyback that the brain doesn't know the difference between thought and reality, dream and reality. It's all the same in the mind, and your body responds to it all the same way.
Beautiful.
There you go, brother.
Okay.
Magic.
That was a very profound statement that you shared, Josh. The body doesn't know if it's real or not. It's going to respond as though it's real. Although our body is brilliant, has been brilliantly built and engineered, it's lacking that level of intelligence to know, oh, there he goes again. He's just thinking bullshit. It can't disseminate between what's real and what's not. It only sees it as, in that moment, it's happening, it's real. Even if it's just a thought. That's why it gets very slippery when we are continuously allowing our mind to control our outcomes of the day through thought. I do want to share, Abigail beautifully shared. She says, I consciously chose to stop comparing it all and gave myself a kind, clean slate. Who knew we could clean our slate like that?
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah, who knew? Thank you for sharing that. It's that time, guys. We're just about over the hour. It's the time in the show where we really have some fun. We are going to play musical chairs this evening. And so how it works is you're going to have 2 minutes. 2 minutes to be solo, to either share, drop another nugget or liquid pure gold tool for the community, or share thoughts, a wrap up. And the third option is you're welcome to share in this moment, truly in your heart space, what you are grateful for tonight. And with that, we're going to pop Jeff Fasano up in the hot seat right now. You've got 2 minutes to put a pretty bow in the show.
I'm going to have to talk above my very vocal kitty here tonight. I have no idea why she's doing this. And she's looking at me right now and wants something. But, man, I'm beyond words right now, guys. I'm just feeling what everybody's saying, feeling grateful that we're doing this, feeling grateful for hearing all of this wonderful knowledge and the growth and the expansion. Really, I think right now I'm just in this place of gratitude of where I am right now. I mean, not in my life in general, but where I am right this very moment. With you guys, with what we're doing, with how we're helping people, and how this show has helped me a lot. Learning from you guys, moments that we just had that opened my heart so much more than it ever has been. Grateful for the intimacy that we create here, that we're creating within the four of us. How I remember from the very beginning when we started this, how there was an aspect of my heart that was shut down. And as we grew in intimacy with the four of us, I stayed with it, and it has opened my heart so much to do this and to help others for where they are right now, and to just be who we are. and be who we are as men, be who we are in our heart space, in where we are in our life, and really be open and transparent to all the people who are watching and hearing this and watching the replays. And I'm more than grateful just for being here right now. I don't have any tools to give or anything like that. I thought I did, and in my mind, I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to say this," but right now, it's just I'm just being here and being really grateful that we're doing this and we've come together.
Magic, brother. Thanks, Jeff.
Same.
I'd like to invite our viewers and listeners to drop down in the comments in this moment. What are you feeling great gratitude for? As we wrap up this show, Jillian said, "I am grateful, truly in my heart, for all of you and the space and love you offer and share." Thank you, Jillian. Thank you so much for that.
Ev.
Boom. Awesome. All right, my brothers, my sisters, as always, thank you again from the bottom of my heart for supporting our show on our Real Men Real Talk Live. And I'm talking about our show as a family. You know, we've moved in here in the future, in the land down under, into a 12-12 gateway. Very, very significant portal, which really ends up finishing on that 21st into the 12. And all year, we may as well say it's been a very, very significant portal, only if we could see it. You know, part of that portal, we're going to start seeing some of these beautiful actions, some of these stars, some of these giants up in the sky come into alignment that haven't been there for quite a few years. And two of those planets just happen to be Saturn and Jupiter. Now, in the old stories, Saturn was the old guard. It was authority. It was the old way. But they say that Jupiter is the young boy. It's the young kid in town. It's the new way of life. You know, when these two planets came into alignment 200 years ago, there were significant changes made back then as well. We now have that opportunity again, my brothers and sisters, to make changes the way that we want to see them. You know, Oprah Winfrey, on the other side of the pond there with you guys, she famously once said, "Be thankful for what you have. You'll end up having more." When we focus on what we don't have, we'll never have enough. So seeing life for what it really is, not what you expect it to be, and that was one big lesson that I had to learn very quickly in my life. Like I said, man, I was in survival mode. But being able to figure out about life, what you have right now, right this in this present moment, and to be grateful about that, not the what ifs, not the what ifs or the what could be's or the what should have beens, but the what is. Because my brothers and sisters, there only is an isness. And when you start to be more present in that isness, that you are enough and you are grateful for always being that enough, then you will always be ready to take on whatever is around the corner, even if it is like the year 2020, the year of plenty, as we go into the year 2021.
Wow. Evis Love Heath, bringing it home one more time. Wow. Let's just take a moment here to catch our breath and pause so that we could really receive what both Jeff Asano and Evis Love have shared with us in their closing remarks. Josh Richard, you're up.
I would like everybody to close their eyes for a second. Take a deep breath in and out. Now think of something that happened today or this week. A smile from a friend, a helping hand, an unexpected gift or support or love from a friend, family member, a phone call or a text. And think of that special thing from this week and just step into it and feel how good that felt. Take it in, let it glow inside you. Gratitude for me is a fluttering of my heart when I truly feel it. Truly, truly feel that and be grateful for that. How special that was this week and how much that meant to you. Yeah. Now elevate that even more and just celebrate and how beautiful that was. And that's the state we can get ourselves to. Simply by recognizing those moments and bathing in them for a moment, truly feeling it and feeling such deep appreciation. I've had a lot of beautiful things this week to be deeply grateful for. And so, yeah, I wanted to close with that.
Thank you, Josh, Richard. When things are going good in our life, it's really easy to celebrate. It's really easy to jump on that table or dance floor and share it out. But I believe there's something greater than celebration. And that greater experience is gratitude. For me, gratitude is when we're in pain, when we're hurting, when we have a loss, when we have a diagnosis, when our heart gets broken, when we get hurt, when we get wounded, and we're able to reach down deep inside and ask the question, what do I learn about me in this moment? What do I learn about this experience? Can I find gratitude for a lesson? The lesson we don't learn most of the time when we're celebrating. We learn when we're suffering, when we're in pain, when we're hurting. That to me is so much more profound than celebrating, high-fiving each other. When I'm in darkness and I'm able to see and feel the littlest thing that I could reach for and hold on to and be grateful for in that moment, it changes everything for me. So if you are listening tonight and you are in pain, you're hurting, you're scared, you're worried, you're hurt, instead of sitting in it for long, rise out of it by going deeper. And how I do that is through acceptance. In that moment, I accept that what happened has happened. Because it's an opportunity for growth in some way. It could be growth for myself. It could be growth for my relationship or relationships with whomever it is I'm walking through this moment with. But it's an opportunity to connect in a much deeper way than we ever thought was possible. And understanding that behind all of that is the word trust. Trusting that in this moment, we are right where we're at. And accepting that we're here. But we're going to grow through it. We're going to learn. And in this moment, we could hold space for ourselves and find a gratitude and just having the awareness of what I just shared. And with that, I love you guys. This has been another beautiful episode of Real Men, Real Talk Live. And what's the game, by the way?
Oh, I love it, Jeff. I love it.
What's your he on mic? That's okay. He's mic. He's muted himself. I love you guys. I love this show. Mm-hmm. I love how we show up. Mm-hmm. This was the vision I had back in 2016. I didn't have the courage to put it out in the universe in 2018 and then launched my first podcast, Real Men, Real Talk Raw. But I am so grateful in this moment that I had the courage to launch, to do something I had never done, eventually creating this show, Real Men, Real Talk Live, because it's not about the show. It is about the message. And it is about how we show up for each other, to celebrate, to honor, to respect, and to love each other. And then have the courage to express it through our words and through our behavior. And then take it one step further and go live and do what we're doing. In this moment, I am truly grateful for all three of you for having the courage to step in with me and bring this to life, live. And with that, thank you, viewers, for catching us tonight, supporting us, being with us. We will read all of your comments. I'm excited to read what you are in gratitude for in this moment. Keep the faith. Faith over fear. We'll catch you guys next Friday night on Real Men, Real Talk Live. For now, have a beautiful weekend. I'm glad we are back on Friday. I missed Friday nights. It's a beautiful way to start a weekend in the United States. Evis is one day ahead of us. He'll tell us in the green room what we can expect to have happen tomorrow because he's already experienced it today. And with that, I love you guys.
Love you, brother.
Love you.